What's up, everybody? It is Tuesday night, 8 o'clock on the East Coast, 5 o'clock out in California, in Southern California. Robert from Nemesis Reptiles is joining us tonight, and you want to stick around for it. If you've seen him on Instagram, you know he's got some of the best photography in the game, but he's also got some really killer animals. So we're going to talk ball pythons, reptiles, marketing, and we've actually been hanging out for about 15 minutes behind the scenes, enjoying ourselves. So we'll just continue that. So I'm going to hit the music. Robert, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this thing. I'll hit the music and right back. Robert, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Adam, thanks for having me on. Actually, I've been checking out your podcasts on YouTube, and you're definitely really good at it. I suggest you keep going. You got a great speaking voice, and your presentation's really good. So, I think you'll take it pretty far.
Thank you very, very much. That's really kind. Thank you. If you've seen a few of them, you know that I sort of started this as an outlet and a learning experience. But it's funny the different things that translate. Like, it feels to me like I'm behind a bar or I'm serving tables or, it's another type of show, another type of stage. So it's kind of you to say. It's not quite my element yet, but I'm getting there. I got to tell the story of just a second ago.
Okay.
So me and Robert are just chatting behind the scenes, and this is a really great prank to play on people on live streams. In the comments, I guess somebody wrote, "We can see and hear you all." I'm still not convinced we weren't live, but I don't think that we were live. Anyhow, Robert tells me, "Hey, we're already live, man. It's on." And I just froze during that. It would be a great short on the YouTube channel or whatever. But anyhow, enough of that. So Nemesis Reptiles, Victorville, California. Tell us about what you got going on. Tell us a little bit of the scope of what you do as far as reptiles go.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Adam. Well, first of all, I'm just a small snake breeder in Southern California. I am in the high desert area, kind of halfway between Los Angeles and Las Vegas. My business is primarily working with ball pythons, but I'm not a real huge breeder. I think I got about 25 keepers. There's a lot of morphs I work with. I like a lot of, stuff in the Bell complex. I got a lot of recessive projects that I'm working on. And we can get more into the details of the ball pythons, but I just want to mention a couple other things that I work with, a couple other projects.
Yeah.
I have a couple of quince monitors that I'm hoping is a pair. I know I got a big girl and I'm growing up a male to hopefully pair with her. I've always kind of loved monitor lizards, and that was kind of the first thing I got into reptiles many, many years ago. And, I'm just fascinated by them. And
how big on the spectrum are those monitors?
They're in the Indicus complex, which is like mangrove monitors and bluetail monitors, that sort of thing. So they're like 3 to 4 feet, maybe.
Okay.
They're not real big. They're kind of on the smaller side, but they're amazingly
manageable if they want to, or if you want to manage them, they're still manageable.
Yeah, they're manageable, but they're highly active. I built a huge enclosure, which is just to the left of me here. That's, I think, it's 6.5 feet tall by 3 feet wide by over 6 feet. 6.5 feet tall by 6 feet wide, I believe. And they got a lot of space. It's got a door you can walk inside.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, they need a lot of space.
Yeah, and they stay inside with you or outside?
It gets too cold up here in the winter to keep them outside, okay. So
all right.
I keep them inside.
Yeah.
And other than that, I have a breeding pair of wheeler-eyed knobtail geckos that are really awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying those a lot, actually, but they breed pretty prolifically. I've produced quite a few of them already in my first year. They actually started breeding on the ride home in the deli cup.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious. They started breeding in the deli cup, and a month later, I already had eggs. I had to scramble to make an incubator because they have to be kept at a slightly lower temperature than ball python. So immediately, right away, I had to start building one.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I'm not very familiar with various geckos. So what kind of geckos was it again?
They're knobtail geckos. I think their scientific name is Nephris wheeleri.
Okay. And is that like we'll get to the picture stuff later, but on one of your really recent Instagram posts, there's a gecko. Is that one of them?
Yeah, that's one of the babies. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah, they're real big eyes, and yeah, that's the only ones I have.
Okay, gotcha. What about the dart frogs? You still in that project, or what's the story with those?
Oh no, I love the dart frogs. In fact, I love all bioactive enclosures. I want to do more stuff like that in the future. Kind of the way my history played out is that, I kind of kept reptiles my whole life, off and on. And I had some stuff like maybe in my mid 20s or so. But it was around that time I think I got into saltwater reef tanks.
Yeah.
And I kind of got that bug for a long time. And I did that for 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. But, as I was researching that, I noticed that a lot of people were keeping like bioactive poison dart frog vivariums. And I didn't know that they weren't toxic outside of the wild. And I started to get a little bit more into that. And I built my own little vivarium.
Wait a second. Say that again. They're not toxic in captivity?
They are not. No.
Really? How do you, I didn't know. Like, I mean, this whole time I'm like, well, I can't have those. They're cool, but I can never have this. So they're not poisonous at all.
Absolutely captivity? Not. Absolutely not. No.
So I don't even know if you know. I'm putting you on the spot, but how does that differentiate from nature to captivity?
I think I can answer that, but I don't think anybody knows the exact process, or maybe somebody does. But I think their toxicity comes from a certain diet or certain insects that they're eating in the wild, in the rainforest.
Okay.
And it may be that there needs certain bugs need to eat certain plants, and somehow, what's the word? They sequester. They sequester the toxins from their diet in the wild. But
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, thanks for taking a stab at that. Like I said, I know it's kind of putting you on the spot. That's a pretty huge aha moment. Like, I can remember being a kid being just in awe of like, those are cool. And then I would see one in a pet shop and be like, holy smokes, these are attainable. And then like, even when we started getting into the snakes, our kind of family agreement was nothing that can hurt us or hurt our animals and that kind of thing. So, and plus I keep I keep a completely narrow focus on ball pythons, but so what's the habitat like for poison dart frogs? Can they stay in the same sort of ambient temperatures as ball pythons?
It's even easier than that. They don't really need any extra heat. Pretty much room temperature is fine for them unless you live in a particularly cold or hot place.
Yeah.
They just stay room temperature year round.
Yeah. I mean, my room stays at, between 77 and 79 all year round. So, I mean, that one's just microheated, micromanaged on the heat.
Yeah, they would need no excess heat whatsoever. And in fact, because of the bioactive vivariums, you really never have to do much cleaning of them either. I mean, sometimes I'll wipe down the glass, change the leaves out, trim the plants, but other than that,
it's great. Man. And then what do you feed them in the bioactive?
Fruit flies.
Really?
Yeah, you just culture fruit flies. It's about as hard as making oatmeal to make a fruit fly culture, but other than that, you just create a culture. Wait a couple of weeks and that's it.
I got to ask you though, do you get fruit flies all over the place? That drives me bonkers.
They do, but they're wingless ones.
They're what?
The fruit flies that they sell for dart frogs, somehow, somewhere down the line, somebody engineered wingless fruit flies. So they don't even fly.
Brilliant. So they don't get they're just everywhere in the enclosure crawling around?
Yeah, I mean, they do escape, but I have a pretty airtight enclosure. I mean, there's little vents with screen that they can't get through, but they do get out and they do have a way. Somebody might, if anybody keeps them in the comments or that's watching, they make a beeline right for your beer.
I'm sure.
Yeah, they'll walk across the table, climb up and right into a beer or any kind of sugary drink for
sugar,
that.
Yeah, that's what they're after. Yeah. Oh man, I'm amazed. I of course the show's about ball pythons and we talk ball pythons all the time. Maybe it's just a breath of fresh air to have something else, but oh man, that's maybe something I want to do now. I would love to just have a little, how much space do they need per frog? Like how many frogs can you get in I don't know, how much space do they need?
Well, they come in different sizes. I think I have a group of El Cope Auratus dart frogs, which are the blue ones you can see on my Instagram page. And I just have those in a 20-gallon tall aquarium. The the front opening ones might be a little bit easier, but I just kind of modified aquariums.
Yeah.
And did, foam background so that plants can grow up. And then, but I can definitely, if you want to talk later, I can walk you through the whole thing if you're ever interested in that.
Yeah, I'm not ready for it yet. And I wouldn't say a series of videos, but a common theme lately has been really streamlining my efficiency in my snake room, because I really want, the way I've got it set up, I've got such a limited amount of space that anything that doesn't need to be heated, I actually want out of there. I want the incubator out. I want the work table out of there. And then I want to maximize, how much space and snakes I can get in there. I don't need to right now, but when I need to, I will. Yeah, I'm going to look into them though. I can't do it quickly, but one of these times I will.
Well, I'll put it to you this way. I was going to move the dart frog vivs into the snake room, and my wife told me no because they're pretty, because they have plants grown in there. And,
yeah.
So those ones got to stay inside the house when I finished this room.
Yeah. Yeah. We've got an adult bearded dragon. That's kind of the pet in the house. The rest of them are I mean, I have my own favorites that are like the pets, so, well, hey, I neglected to say hey to a bunch of people in the audience, and there's 13 of you right now. There was 19 not long ago, but thanks everybody for being here, especially if you haven't joined the show before or that you're coming this way via Nemesis Reptiles. And those of y'all that are just joining, this is Robert from Nemesis Reptiles. I'm going to put your name or type it in the comments here. Your Instagram is phenomenal. I'm sure if you follow Ball Pythons at all on Instagram, you've probably seen some of Robert's pictures. But I wanted to ask you, because I looked for Nemesis Reptiles on like different platforms, and I found a really old page on Facebook that hasn't been posted to since like 2015. Is that your old page, or is that just somebody else that went with the same name?
Okay, that's interesting. No, that is not me, actually. And maybe this is a good segue into getting to how I got the name Nemesis.
Yeah,
Reptiles.
tell us about
that. Nemesis is actually my fantasy football name.
Okay.
That I've used for like the last 10 years. And so if I was going to start any sort of business, this was the natural name to use. I mean, I would get, payments for football that would say, Rob Nemesis Lopez on them. So.
Oh, cool. When, how long has Nemesis Reptiles been a name or a thing for you?
I'm trying to think, maybe like 2 or 3 years. I've always planned on using this name, but I actually went through the trouble of getting a business license, as well as registering the domain name and, getting a seller's permit. And I went through all the proper steps because I mean, this is not the best business to make money, but, and I'm not in it to make money. I like the animals, but, I just kind of wanted the experience of going through that whole process.
Yeah. I think it's valuable to do. And I think it protects your name and your brand and your integrity for exactly what I'm talking about. I was like, well, I looked it up. There he was, 6 years. And I was going to be like, your pictures have come a long way, but it's funny because that's all on that Nemesis Reptiles. It's all ball pythons as well.
Yeah. And I saw that after I had registered the domain name, because this was always the name I was planning on using for many, many years. So when I went to buy the domain name, I started looking on Facebook and I saw that. And I'm like, oh, man, I almost changed my name because I thought somebody was already using it, but the domain was expired. It didn't seem like there was any activity going on.
No, it's a dead page, I think, from what I could tell. I have a pretty unique last name. It's Shirah, Shirah. And I Googled just out of the blue, this was 12, 15, I don't know, maybe longer years ago. You Google your own name, see what's out there. And there's three Adam Shirahs that I know of. And one of them's I'm not going to call him out. My luck, he's watching or something. But all that comes up on the images is like pictures of him out of his mind, like vomiting out the side of the car. He's drunk, he's hammered. And I was like, and he's got a dark complexion, I was like, this can't stand. Like, people are going to mistake this clown for me. And I'm not, and I don't know if he's a clown now. This was 15 years ago. I was like, this is not how I want to represent. So I went out that day and I bought adamshirah.com. And to this day, there's just a picture of me in a suit in a restaurant. Like, I don't know what I'll ever do with it, but I want that to come up first if people Google my name. So I get it on the domain. I just picked up, I own the properroyals.com domain as well. Again, I was going to say I don't know what I'll do with it. I do know what I'll do with it. That's going to be, I want to do with it what you do with yours. Your storefront is really great. I know you don't have a huge inventory right now, but your online storefront is fantastic. It gives your pictures, your branding, and your marketing give a really, really big first impression. It's really fantastic what you do on that. That's what made you stick out to me for quite some time, to be honest.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. With the storefront, I just kind of set that up again. I made this website a while back, and I think a few weeks ago I decided now's the time I need to kind of spruce it up a little bit. I'm not sure how many people go to it, but a lot of things that I do, I just kind of do for myself, just because I'm kind of the person that just kind of likes to make things, create things. And a lot of it I just do for myself, for my own.
And there's a lot of fulfillment in having it right to the standards you want it to be. I mean, that in itself is fulfilling, I find. So, where do you see, what funnel do you see most of your traffic come through? Is it through Morph Market? Are you selling stuff on Instagram before it even gets to Morph Market? Are you getting it from your website, or do you track any of that?
Yeah, it seems like a good amount was coming from Morph Market, but Instagram seems to be directing a lot of traffic lately.
Yeah.
And, this is going to sound funny, but one of the parts that I really enjoy about this business, other than working with the animals, is that interacting with the customers. So far, I've had nothing but great experiences with anybody that's bought an animal. I get regular updates. People are sending me, I've had people that had, little husbandry things they had to correct when they first got the snake. And as soon as they corrected them, the snake would immediately start eating and doing well. And so I get regular messages from a lot of my customers all the time, which I really enjoy, actually.
I would agree with you. I've interacted with some really great people, and this is just my first season of breeding that I just completed. And that some customers ride off into the sunset, and that's cool. I hope everything's good. I hope everybody knows if there's ever an issue, you can follow back up with me. But the other ones, they keep up with, and like you say, the first time snake owners that you're like, I don't know if this is going to go well. And then they get it, or they tweak just something, and it comes together that way. And you could connect with, just like we're connecting across the country, but you connect with people all over the place. It's amazing that we can get a snake in our case, but an animal from Jacksonville to Utah and overnight. And then I'm talking to the lady the next morning going, all right, let's get you set up this way. Here's what you're missing. Leave it alone. All the things that we do. So I love that part of the hobby. Do you have any strategy on Instagram as far as selling, or do people just inquire as you post pictures, or do you do like active marketing on Instagram, or is it more passive, just keeping your name and your brand out there?
I'm not super active. I mean, I have an Instagram professional account, but I don't use any paid services or anything. But I kind of like the little metrics, and it shows how many people are tapping on your website link and that sort of thing. But
I mean, do you post like, hey, this is for sale, contact me, or is it just pictures that speak for themselves, or somewhere in between?
Occasionally, I think I've only been on Instagram for just over a year. And, by the time it really got going, I was kind of almost sold out. I only have a few snakes left from last year, and a couple of those already spoken for.
Right.
I got a lot of stuff, cooking right now, but, as far as ball pythons from 2021, it's just about over.
Gotcha. So I don't know if this is more about me or more about you, but I'll give you some stats about us. So you and I have within 10 posts of just as many posts. So you have 194 posts. I have like 185 right now. However, you have more than 10 times as many followers. So I think your pictures are great. I don't know if you've seen in the comments, man, people love your pictures. They're fantastic. Let me share some. And those of y'all watching, if you haven't seen them, Nemesis Reptiles on Instagram. Give me 1 second, and I'm going to bring up another screen. And Robert, is it sharing the screen right now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, cool. So you got all these killer pictures, and then this one, comic book over here. No, but these these pictures are great, and I'm inspired by it, and I'm going to steal. To steal it, I would have to be able to pull it off. But the water pictures on the snakes are brilliant, man. I love that strategy that you're pulling off on there. Without, unless you want to, but without divulging your secrets, what kind of setup are you using, or what do you recommend, or what can you share, for whatever you would like to share?
You're gonna laugh at this, but I don't even have a regular camera. I'm just using my iPhone.
All iPhone, yeah.
Yeah, and as far as equipment, I think I got a $49.99 light box that I got off of eBay.
Okay.
And then and then the water obviously comes from I just had the idea one day of I think I was spraying down a snake that was in shed. I was like, that looks kind of cool. So I threw it in the light box, and I noticed a lot of people don't like the way snakes look in shed, and they don't post pictures when they're in shed. So I was like, well, that'd be kind of cool if I do the opposite.
Yeah, I thought that one was brilliant. This I'm sitting there pointing like y'all could there. Do you see my cursor too, or not?
Yeah,
so,
I can see it.
You do, yeah. So I thought it was brilliant seeing them in shed, and then of course you give the details on the snake after you. I think on this one at least you did. But yeah, I mean the pictures are great. There's like this. What's the word I'm looking for? The scope of it and how close you get it is really great as well. So congratulations on that for, like you say, not having a whole lot of equipment. And those are all done in a light box?
No. Some of them are in a light box, and some of them, like you can see the one with the snake sticking his tongue out on that purple leaf there.
Here?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
I think I was just cleaning his tub, and that one's real friendly and likes to come out like that. And I have a little light that I kind of shine at the tubs because it's kind of dark in that corner of the room.
Yeah.
And I just saw that it kind of looked cool the way the light was reflecting off the snake. So, I always got my phone on me, so I just snapped off a picture. And that's one thing that I will share is that, if I take one picture, it won't be very good. But if I take 10, there's usually one or two good ones in there. So that's kind of a secret to what I do, I guess. I just take a lot.
Yeah. Is it quantity over quality, and then you just kind of strike gold along the way?
Yeah, pretty much. I just, I just go in there and snap a bunch of pictures real quick. And
trust me, I get that part of it. That part I'm all on board for. That one I get. Well, very cool. Nice job on those. And again, to everybody, I recommend y'all checking out Robert's Instagram. Nemesis Reptiles is the one on there. Let me figure out how to close this real quick. Close this down. So you said you were working on some recessive projects. What goals do you have? Where do you see those projects taking you? What are you hoping to pull out in the future anyhow?
Okay. So for this season right now, I'm pretty excited because I was able to get a GHI Mojave that was head hypo from a friend of mine.
Is that the one that was in shed?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
I took it off anyway. Okay.
Yeah. But I also had an adult female hypo that's head pied, which the head pied won't do much. But what I'm trying to produce is GHI Mojave hypo, which I don't know if you've seen those before. You think you probably have.
Well, I haven't, but let's talk it through either way. So the GHI and the Mojave make like a almost black purple snake with the yellow kind of
lateral bright yellow
on top,
yes.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that in a hypo would be like a smoky purple kind of color coming through it, right?
It'll look like that one that's in shed, but without being in shed, without the blue eyes.
Without the blue eye, yeah, it'll have the clear eyes, yeah. Yeah, hypo's really cool. Kai from Lucas Land and Royals, he and I talked about that. Hypo's kind of one of those genes that at first you're like, well, I don't want a snake that looks like it's in shed. And then you see all the different things it can do and the contrast that it does bring in its own ways. I wonder what it'll do on the yellow and the purple on the lateral parts with it if when you hit that.
People have done it before. I've seen what they look like. It's incredible looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the hypos, I got to give my wife credit for the hypos because when I first brought home a snake, at first she didn't like it. And then she saw that the ball pythons are incredible pets, by the way. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
I really love them. But she went to a reptile show with me and then she saw a super pastel hypo and she said, you have to get this one. I like the smokiness look to it.
Yeah.
And so I got one, and then from there, I actually started to really like the gene and started working a lot more with it.
Yeah, Main Squeeze Reptiles says hypo's undervalued. I agree. You could get,
yeah, it is
probably the least expensive recessive you could get into. Matter of fact, I don't know what would be less expensive, like just financially, just dollar wise, what would be less expensive from a visual male that you could buy. But again,
it's probably the cheapest one.
Yeah, I think so. I'm trying to think. I think that was my first. It certainly was my first visual recessive. I think that was my first recessive gene I ever got as well. I got a female as a hatchling, and she'll be breeding end of this year. Next season she'll be breeding. But yeah, it's so nuanced what it does. It's almost like it takes a little while. Like you have to get into the hobby and see all the other morphs and come back around to it to really appreciate it, you know?
Yeah, and you never know what somebody's going to figure out to do with one of these genes further down the line. I think my first breeding ever was a Pastel special to a pied, because that's all I had. That was the only male that I had was up to size.
Yeah.
I ended up keeping a couple of the. I kept a special head pied, 100% head pied, and I kept a Pastel special 100% head pied. And now it's turning out that special pieds look awesome.
They're hot right now. Yeah, they're a big thing right now. I like that cycle of the hobby, of the market. I think it's great to bring up, because the whole chasing genes and the thing is, whatever's hot right now that you go to chase, you ain't got time unless you're just going to shell out all the money for it. And the hotter it is, the more it's going to cost you. So to your point, I really like the idea of get what you like, stick with it, add to it, grow it. You know, I bet we're all guilty of buying more. Like none of us have problems buying, I bet. But no. That's how I feel right now about Candy. I think Candy is just the most beautiful, cleanest. I've got this female that she just makes me smile when I'm cleaning. I'm just like, look at this thing. And she's not up to size yet, but I can't wait she's another one. She's right at, 1,100 grams. I got to wait till next season. But that's how I feel about Candy. And I'm like, I cannot wait to get to work with this. And I don't know, not a whole lot of people work with it. Some of the Candinos and stuff got popular for a little bit, but I love what I'm seeing with Candy and Clown and Candy in Candy Pieds. And anyway, I'm excited for that. So you got hypos. Do you still have pied projects that you're working? Are you out of those, or what happened?
No, I do. Actually, my pied male, I'm planning to breed it to the special head pied and the Pastel special head pied. Nice. They are almost up to size. Yeah, they're like 1,100 grams, like you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. Now, so do you breed? What's your breeding program? You breed year round? You stick with kind of a classic like winter into spring season, or what's your strategy on that?
Here's my strategies. I kind of start pairing them in the fall.
Yeah,
and then they breed when they want to. Some of them I've noticed won't breed until April every year for some reason, and some of them breed earlier. So I just kind of started around that time, and then I cut it off at a certain point. But you may still have a time with a 1,100 gram female, because
that's why I was asking. I've got 3 or 4 that are that like 1,100, and I don't want to rush them. I don't even necessarily need to rush them, because I don't necessarily have the space for, I've got 8 that I'm pairing, 8 pairs right now. And if I get 8 clutches, that'll be plenty of business and work for me. So I actually wouldn't want much more than that this year, just because I'm not set up for it resources wise, hatchling racks, all that kind of thing. But if it were like June, July, I mean, they're gonna hit that. They're gonna hit that good, healthy mark. That 15 to 2,000. They'll certainly hit it before next fall. So I might start pairing them ahead of time. To your point, they're gonna breed and they're gonna pair when they want to breed and they want to pair.
And the other thing to keep in mind is that once they start breeding, that doesn't mean they're going to be laying eggs the next day, and they'll still have probably a couple more months to put on size before they,
that's true.
they
Yeah.
ovulate,
Yeah. No, I learned that lesson. My first year, I was like, here, these snakes, oh man, they're breeding right away. They're eating like crazy. They're huge. And I actually moved in the middle of breeding season last year from North Carolina to Florida, which is, I had 4 pairs last year and only 2 of them went. And I suspect that had something to do with it, but yeah, I mean, the things that you learn, you got to do it to learn it, and you can watch as many of these videos as people want, but you just learn so much doing it yourself. You're right. Yeah. There'll be time on it.
Yeah, I try not to be too rigid with the things that I do. I kind of just watch their behavior and they tell me. I think the first time I went to breed, I was planning on waiting to the next year, but I had a big female. She's like 1,500 grams, and she wasn't eating. She was restless. She was looking for something, and I was like, well, maybe it's time to pair her up. So I did, and she locked right away.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And I can't overstate the value of what you just said. Getting to know your animals and reading them and understanding what they're I don't necessarily think they're trying to tell you. I don't think they're trying to do anything. They're just being snakes. But reading what they're putting out there is hugely valuable.
No, and the other thing is not just really weight. It's kind of more maturity and age, and it's also their body condition. Right. If I see a female that's real thick and she's not real slender and lean, I kind of look at that too. There's a lot of little factors that go into whether or not I decide somebody's ready to. I usually try to wait till 1,400 grams, 1,500 grams at least, but sometimes I'll start a little bit earlier if they seem like they want to and their body condition's good. Yeah,
and that, again, it's hard to put into words. It'd be easier if we were looking at them and I could pull out and show the different snakes. You're right about the body condition. I mean, some of them just aren't. I mean, you could stuff them full of stuff as fast as you want, but if they're just, like you say, that kind of fat blob, but if they're a really robust, like built, they look jacked big, that's a whole different body condition, So like I say, they're not quite ready. I think it'll be a few months, and I've got enough on my hands to keep me occupied for sure right now. So
yeah, there's no reason to rush either. That's the other thing.
I'm happy with the pace I'm on right now. And again, there was a moment this year when I just the amount of work that the hatchlings took. Now it was because I hadn't done it before, partially. But there was a moment with just 15 babies where I was like, my God, this is a lot of work, man.
It is.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. So I want to kind of ease up into it. If I have, 35 or 40 babies this year, which I should, if 8 of them go, that shouldn't be a problem to get to. But I want to experience that before I go experiencing 60 or 70 or whatever,
Okay. Oh, I wanted to mention, I'm seeing some questions come through on the chat. And for anybody out there, if you want to message me on Instagram, I'll answer each and every question that anybody has. Hopefully I didn't set myself for a giant flood of messages, but I actually like answering questions and that sort of thing. So feel free to ask me all the questions you want. If I can't get back to you right away, at some point in the next day or so, I will.
Well, I appreciate that in the hobby, and that's been a cool, and I'm sure it's true. I hear so much about just how awful like the internet is, how awful people are treated online, social media. The ball python portion of it, outside Facebook, can be a little bit toxic, but Instagram and YouTube have been absolutely phenomenal. And I won't get specific because the guy was actually a real gentleman about it, but somebody misunderstood one of my videos and like kind of told me to get lost. And then I clarified it, and he actually came back and apologized. He's like, "Oh no, man, I'm back in, I'm down, we're cool." And I was like, sweet, somebody's apologizing. It's just a cool hobby. And I get to see a lot of the same people week in and week out in the audience here. So I appreciate everybody. Sorry, I just got a really weird sound outside my garage door. Well, we could video an intruder, man. No, I think that intruder was my dog being walked by my wife before she turns out the lights. But So, on your webpage, what platform do you use for your electric sale? Like, I don't know the right. What's the IT word for it? Where your online sales platform?
Oh, the little marketplace thing that I have on there.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look. I'm trying to remember what it's called. If you hit me up after the show, I can look on my laptop and I'll tell you what it is.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I thought it looked. I mean, it was user friendly, and then after some of our discussion before we came on the air tonight, I found anyhow I'd like to check it out. Also, tell me about. I might just be late to the party. This might just be something that everybody in the audience is like, yeah, duh, Adam, that's what you use. So on your Instagram bio, instead of here's the link to this, and I think Instagram limits how long the bio can be.
Yeah.
There's something called Linktree, and you click on that, and then it's like a tree of links. It's like all your links. So instead of just choosing
I just did
one,
that.
What's that?
I just did that. I saw somebody doing that, and I looked it up. I ripped off their idea. Yeah, a lot of people are doing that.
To go do. I was reading up on yours, and I was like, man, I'm always like, how do I tell people to go to YouTube or go to Facebook or this is my email or whatever? So tell me about it. It's just called Linktree? Is there any fee to it? How's it work?
I think it was free. I think they have a professional version, but I think this one was just free.
Yeah.
You just put in your URLs that you want to put on there, and it has a little interface, and then they give you a URL that you just post in Instagram, and then that's your one website, because Instagram will only let you put in that one link.
Right.
So it's pretty useful.
Yeah, that's right. No, I saw it and I was like, that's brilliant. And I'm thinking I need that on YouTube as well, because we're forever like, oh, links in the description. Like I'm going to scroll down. Anybody scrolls down, 42 lines to find the one little link in the description versus here's the link tree. And if you're really interested in, say I'm doing affiliate marketing or whatever it is, which I'm not, but say I was, that would be really useful on that as well. I could. So what's their business model? You get a certain number of links free, and then you need 10 links. You got to pay a subscription or whatever.
I have no idea. It took me about 5 minutes to set that up. It was super simple. Yeah.
Right up my alley. All right. I'm going to go check that out.
Yeah. You'll have it done tonight.
Yeah. I found it was a real aha, that makes, not only does it make sense from the limitations of Instagram, it makes sense from an ease of just not cluttering crap there's only so many letters and words that people are ever going to pay attention to, so that's a cool thing on there. So do you want to show off? I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you want to show off any animals, or is it time where they kind of chill, or any cool things you got going on?
No problem at all. Yeah, I got what kind of stuff? I do have some other recessive projects we didn't really touch on.
Yeah. Let's go back to that, because that's all huge to me. I love recessives.
I'll get. It seemed like you do, so I wanted to mention that I got some more stuff that I'm working on.
Okay, cool.
I got some VPI Xanthics stuff that's going on right now. I'm just working on producing more VPI Xanthics and Pastel VPI Xanthics. I got real lucky, and I got a big, huge adult female girl at a reptile show for like $175.
Nice.
And she was huge already. But she's a great snake. I can get her out. But the first year I got her, I paired her with a pied and made double hets for VPI Xanthic and pied. So I'm hoping that next year I can produce some lightning pieds, which would be pretty cool.
Real cool. Yeah. Have you seen, I don't know if you follow Kai's page at all. Have you seen his lightning pieds on YouTube at all?
No, but I will.
Okay. Yeah. Check out Lucas Landon Royals. I'll let him tell how many, but he's got them for sure. He's more than one. And I don't know. There's other codoms in there as well, I believe, though.
Okay. And then I got some clown stuff that I'm working on. I just got a few like Enchi head clown. Yep. And I got a leopard head clown, and I'm just running my clown through that stuff. Clown male.
So you got a clown male to your female hets.
Yeah. I mean, I like a lot of to me, there's a lot of 2-gene combos that beat almost everything else. Like Mystic Potions. I like Blue Eyed Lucy's. I like GHI Mojaves. To me, it's almost hard to beat those, even though there's just 2 genes. But as one single gene, I don't think it's hard for me to say that any gene beats the clown. It's recessive, but it's powerful because it changes the pattern so significantly. And when you add other genes on top of it, it's not overpowering to the colors. Like you can make a banana clown. It kind of keeps the banana color, but you get the pattern of the clown, if you know what I'm saying.
I like, we're used to what clowns look like now.
Yeah.
But can you imagine when they first started popping out? Like, they don't even look like ball pythons, really. Like,
Yeah, they're incredible.
Yeah, the alien heads don't exist. The eye stripes don't exist. I mean, they're clearly pythons and they're clearly ball pythons. But that first person had to have been like, what in the world is
exactly? It doesn't even look like a ball python at all.
No. So yeah, I agree on that. Like I say, I'm really hot on a few different genes, but clown is absolutely in the running. So have you had a chance to work in, you talked about the Bell complex a lot. Have you had a chance to work that into other recessives? I know that, and I'm not strong on it. I'm not like asking you like I already know the answer. On pieds, a lot of them, they produce very, very high white pieds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of that Bell stuff, I think, if not all of it, will just produce an all white snake when you mix it with pied. I think a lot of the stuff.
If you do two, but if you do single genes with other combos, though, huh?
Yeah, that might work. I'm trying to remember the genetics of all that stuff, but yeah, I'm not sure how much of that stuff really works super well with pied. Like I've seen Mojave pieds and Mystic pieds and lesser pieds. So I think one gene will work, but when you start getting into two, I think I kind of end up with an all white snake.
Yeah, I think it's all white. I think you're right back to all white again. But I was wondering, have you seen, or do you know of, or if anybody in the audience knows as well, what would happen if you went for a pied version of a Mystic Potion?
All white snake, I believe.
It goes back.
Maybe somebody in the audience will correct. Your listeners are great, by the way. It's very nice to see such a positive group of people.
Man,
so
yeah, I was telling Robert before we went on. He kind of said, I'm not that big of a breeder. I was like, I'm not either. I've hatched 15 eggs in my life, but I'm amazed at the people that hang out on our show. And more than half of why I do this show is that I get to just meet and learn from people. So it's intriguing. I'm with you. I don't think it's going to work out nicely that you get this cool Mystic Potion pied, but then I wonder, like, what would like an axanthic Mystic Potion, man, would that happen?
Oh, that could be cool. Yeah, that could probably work. I looked up the Mystic Potion pied at one time because Mystic Potion is one of my favorite morphs. And actually, somebody keeps mentioning Enchi here, but an Enchi Mystic.
He loves that. I mean, I love Enchi too, but he's on the cause for Enchi.
Enchi Mystic Potion is really, really nice. I've seen a couple pictures of those. I don't think it's been done much. Yeah,
that'd be neat to get into. So I picked up this trio of Enchi het clowns from his name's Uriah, and a UHP Reptiles, if y'all get a chance to check him out. But they were his breeders, and then he got visuals, so he was done with the hets and that kind of thing. But man, I got Enchi ready to go. Like I like it in pieds. I like it. They're in the clown project right now, but I'm going to start crossing that over and doing double hets and whatnot. But I've got some Bell complex. I've got Super Mojave, and then I've got Mystic Potion as well. But yeah, it'd be neat to see what like an axanthic or a clown Mystic Potion. I just haven't seen some of them, and I'm sure I could just go look them up on Morph Market and take a look, but I haven't seen them yet, though.
Yeah, one thing I'm actually trying to do is I held back a female Super Mojave last year because this year I'm hoping to hit a Super Mystic, and breeding those together should be 100% Mystic Potions, which would be cool.
Yeah, well,
everybody. Yeah,
it was kind of a funny story. You talk about 2-gene snakes. So I was at a reptile show, and there's a breeder, George MD, that I really like. He just produces this killer stuff. And I had a little bit of money in my pocket. My wife and son were there. I was like, let's go see George. He's always good to me. And I like, people that are good sellers, I go back to them. I like to reward them, kind of thing. So I go there, and he's like, oh, and I didn't have a pied at that point in my life. I had a het pied, but not a pied. And I was like, I'm going to buy a pied today. my wife and son were there. I said, hey, which ones do you like? Isn't this pied really nice? And my wife, she points at a Mystic Potion. She's like, that's the most beautiful snake at the table. I was like, all right, Charlie, that's my son. He's 9. I was like, Charlie, you're the tiebreaker. And in my mind, I'm like, he's going to do the right thing. He's like, that Mystic Potion's amazing. Let's buy that. So
yeah, I mean, they're purple.
Yeah,
it's hard to beat them.
That's where we got the Mystic Potion. But then, so it's a female, and I've got the male Super Mojave. So pairing those together will produce 100% either Super Mojaves or Mystic Potions. So that, I mean, that's a cool outcome too for a breeding project. So I'm falling more in love with it, and the whole pied thing worked out. I ended up getting a male breeder versus a hatchling. So it's all good. But those are beautiful snakes, man. Really cool. So VPI. Pied, hypo. What else do we miss on your end?
Oh, from the recessives, clown.
Oh yeah, clown. That's right. Yeah. And so you should have visual clowns coming out this year. You're saying from?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm hoping so. This male's never bred before, so I'm hoping he can get the job done. But
right.
Yeah. So I'm hoping I'm breeding to a couple different girls this year.
Okay, and they're. I'm sorry, I think you said it. They're Enchi het clowns or just het clowns?
I got an Enchi het clown and I got a leopard het clown.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that. Okay.
I want to think I have another one, but I can't remember. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, really. We'll sign off and you'll be like, oh yeah, we meant to bring that up. I meant do you have any visions of trying to? You talked about a double recessive. Is that or double hets? Do you want those in the future, or where do you think your plan's going to take you in the future for those things?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, like I mentioned before, I got lightning pieds that I'm working on, and I'm trying to produce some special het clowns because special clowns seem to be pretty awesome looking too. I think they're kind of hot right now. So that special gene that was one of my first, that was my first snake, turned out to be a pretty popular gene a few years down the road.
Yeah. Now you said that was your very first snake.
Yeah. And I produced crystals with her and the pastel crystals, which are also awesome.
They were, I looked on your Morph Market page and I brought up all the things that have sold. And I did see those are cool snakes, man. I saw those.
Or mystic crystals are cool too. I don't know if you've seen those.
I was going to say
some of those too.
Those of us that aren't up on all the nicknames, what are the genes that go into crystals?
Crystal is a special Mojave special is a crystal.
Yeah,
I think that's right. And then obviously if it's a pastel crystal.
And then did you make a mystic crystal that I saw too? A mystic special?
Yeah. It's a mystic special. Yeah.
They're great. Like I say, I went and I looked. And as soon as you said that, I was like, man, that's right. I should have brought that up. So what was your do you have any great challenges from breeding or snakes you didn't think would make it and came through, or like people that haven't bred before? What are they going to encounter that they don't know about? Or what did you run into that was just just crazy town?
I don't know. After dealing with reef tanks for so long, first of all, those reef tanks are a huge money pit.
Yes.
And second, everything compared to that seems really low maintenance and easy. That's kind of why I got into this. I can do the weekly maintenance on all these snakes in 45 minutes, which, on the weekends I'll spend 2-3 hours on the reef tank,
Right. I never had a reef tank, but I had cichlids, and we had 300 gallons of cichlids.
Yeah.
And right about the time I got, so I had some ball pythons back in college, but 20 years ago, and I was just a college kid with snakes. But we had our cichlids, and my son got a bearded dragon for Christmas, and I was like, you know what? I want a ball python again. And I went and got a banana ball python. Bananas didn't exist or certainly weren't accessible when I had ball pythons before. I was like, this is amazing. I can have this now. So I went and got one, and it's just what you're talking about, man. water change on a ball python is way different than a water change on 300 gallons of cichlid tanks, man. And I can only imagine on the salt water. Actually, I never did get into salt tanks.
Oh, I got too far into it. For like 5 years, I had a tank that was an acrylic saltwater, a full reef tank that was 10 feet wide by 2 feet deep and 2 feet high. So
Wow. Out there in that garage, where was that?
in the dining room.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I spent like 6 months refurbishing the stand so I could make it look like a nice piece of furniture.
Okay.
So my wife would let me bring it inside. Yeah, yeah.
So 10 feet by 2 deep and 2 high?
Yeah.
How many gallons is that?
It was 300.
Man.
Yeah,
that was beautiful though, man.
It was, but that's a reef tank's constantly on the verge of collapse. And the snake, I try to practice really good biosecurity and quarantine for a long time. But I've never even had a snake get sick. Not even one sniffle from any of the reptiles.
Yeah, fingers crossed or knock on wood, whatever the expressions are. I'm the same way. Mine are. I've never had a sick one. I've never had one die. But the reason I asked you about this challenge is the biggest challenge I had was and I've got a video coming on Thursday, so it's a little bit of a plug for that. But I had one female hatchling that wouldn't eat, and I've been assist feeding her, and I've been wrestling with, is this thing ever going to be viable? It's just getting smaller and smaller, and I'm like, man, am I going to lose this thing? And she ate this week, man. She ate.
You know what? That's great. I've done that twice. Yeah. Actually, I forgot about that. I have assist fed twice. It's the greatest feeling when they finally eat on their own.
Yeah. Like on the video, I'm like, I couldn't even do the math. I asked Google. I was like, how many days has it been since September 23rd? And Google's like 117 days. This thing, I got it to that point. And then boom, she didn't take a hopper mouse. And I was like,
it takes a while. It takes like 8 to 12 times, I've noticed, of assist feeding them.
Yeah, the others were fine. I had 3 that I had to assist feed. Now, I will say those other 2, I probably only assist fed twice, maybe 3 times on them. But this one, I kind of was resigned to like, look, I'm going to care for this thing as long as I can, but I don't know that it's going to make it. And then sure enough, that mouse hopper's gone, man. I was just dumbfounded, absolutely amazed by it. So
yeah, actually, I just posted a picture on my Instagram of a VPI xanthic female that I said was shipping out. That girl, I actually assist fed for a long time. Somebody wanted it, and he was very patient with me. And we decided to ship after the holidays and all that. But now she's frozen thawed.
Yeah,
so
that's
great.
Man, like I said, I was just so excited. I was like, I can't believe this. I'm gonna make a video about this. So, and again, I'm sure other breeders are like rolling their eyes, like, yeah, that happens. And I'm like, yeah, but it was so cool that she ate. I was so pleased.
Oh, by the way, sorry, I haven't forgot about you asking to get some animals out, and we can do that in a second.
That's
kind of
cool.
got sidetracked.
No, as long as we're just enjoying with it and enjoying the show, we're good. Do you keep any of your ball pythons bioactive?
No.
Okay.
No, actually, here's the thing with I'm really big into bioactives. Like I mentioned, how big my monitor cage is, and that's pretty much bioactive, and I do a lot of that kind of stuff. But here's one thing that really sold me on ball pythons in tubs. Have you ever seen the YouTuber Dingo Dinkelman? He's in South Africa, I believe.
No, but I'm gonna go look at it. Just on the name. I'm gonna go check.
Yeah, I think that's his name. Maybe I'm messing it up, but he has a big building in South Africa that he keeps huge, enormous, like king cobras and stuff. And he's got beautiful, gigantic enclosures for the king cobras. And he does have a few ball pythons that he keeps for educational things and things like that. And even those ones, he even keeps his ball pythons in tubs because he says that ball pythons, because their behavior and like to feel safe and secluded, they thrive much better in tubs. My opinion kind of is you can keep them in a bigger enclosure as long as they have a lot of small hiding spots.
Yeah.
But, ball pythons are kind of the animals that kind of like to, burrow into a tight little space in the wild and wait for food. That's kind of their natural behavior. It's kind of what makes them such a good pet,
That is entirely my opinion. I was going to be intrigued if you because you talked about the bioactive setup for the dart frogs, and then I didn't catch it on the first go around. You said that on the monitors as well. I've I kept my first, and it certainly wasn't bioactive, but I kept my first few snakes. I had 3 tanks at one point. They didn't go well. They were stressed as can be. My clown pied, not clown pied. I have a clown pied. My clown Pastel, not pied, Pastel. His name is Strike, and he is the most gentle, docile thing ever. But his name is Strike because when I first got him and we had him in that tank, he had no idea what to do with the glass and the glare and the reflection. And man, if you got near him, it was business time. So anyhow, again, I'm with you. It can be done. And if your animal does well with it and you as an owner do well with it, by all means. But if science and nature say we need security, we need food, and ideally we have a chance to procreate, and when one of those 3 is out of balance, it means something else is out of balance. Man, my snakes are doing great because those 3 things are in balance. And I spend a lot of time with my snakes and I enjoy it, but I agree with you on the tubs. I don't keep any in tanks anymore. None.
Yeah, they do really well. Now, that being said, every one of my ball pythons has a name, and they all come out regularly.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you on that too.
They watch TV. I don't know if they like coming out or hanging out watching TV on the couch or whatever, but I do like to do some sort of enrichment with all the animals. I take the monitors up to swim in the bathtub and do all kinds of stuff like that too. So I try to do as much as I can, but ball pythons definitely seem to thrive in tubs. I'm not completely against tanks or anything either, but something about their behavior, they like that sort of environment.
That's what it seems to me. Yeah, I'm not to be honest, I hate to say it, I don't care enough to fight the fight. If somebody wants to keep them in a tank, keep them in a tank as long as they're well cared for and that kind of thing.
Oh, tanks can work fine too.
Yeah,
it is difficult to have 50 tanks and try to produce.
Yeah, well, from my food and beverage background, the other thing that just eats at me is the cleanliness factor. A tub, you can keep a tank clean. I'm not saying tanks are not cleanable. They're totally cleanable. But as far as cleaning and getting to the level of clean that I want to get to and time in the day and efficiency, like we still got to live. We still got to be dads and husbands and we got to go work jobs. Like I can't just clean tanks all day. So tubs are very, very accessible to clean. I can get them as clean as I want them to be. And it's funny. I don't know if you've seen or not. I have a commercial dish room, restaurant dish sink over here. So like I can clean, man. I love it. So
I got a couple things about that I want to throw in there real quick. Number one, I have a sink in my snake room too, and it's the greatest thing that I've ever put in here. Me and my dad put it in one day, and he goes, "Are you using that sink?" I use it. I was like, "I use that sink every single day of my life." Number one, and number two, I'll give you a tip, and I'll share this with the people. Even though I think we're attracting the anti-tub people, but
I'm not even anti. I'm talking my experience and what I've shared, and what I've.
Yeah, me too.
That's all.
But check this out. If you want to clean a whole bunch of tubs and make short work of it, take them out in the backyard, front yard, in the grass or whatever driveway, and get yourself a pressure washer, and it'll clean them out really, really quick.
Yeah,
especially the stuff in there that's hard to get off. Just spray them, real good with F10, and pressure wash them. It'll be done really fast.
Yeah, so I'm in my sink is there. It's not plumbed and the faucet's not there. So when I left the restaurant, I bought the sink out of I was like, I'm taking it. So I've got one of those pull down high pressure sprayers.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I got the pull down thing. So my Christmas Santa gift was some stainless steel shelves, and I just put in some waterproof flooring out here for it. And in the next 30 to 60 days, I'm going to get a plumber in here to get it plumbed. Fortunately, my washer and dryer are on the other side of the wall. So I think I can pull the water and just tie straight to that main drain where the washing machine drains. And I haven't actually had a plumber that can tell me that's okay, but that's how I envision this all working out.
I looked out and there was a bathroom on directly in the other side where I wanted to put the sink. And
Yeah.
like I think I mentioned to you before the show started, my dad is a very, very good contractor, or he was.
Yeah.
And he works for the price of 3 tacos from the taco place
Oh man.
when he's done.
I might just fly an air flight for him out here might be cheaper than hiring a contractor around here. I'll get him some tacos and a plane. No, I'm joking. But no, I'm extremely excited about it because I'm still using spray bottles. You know, I got my water. I got you talked about F10. I use chlorhexidine, but I got my spray for my water, my sanitizer, and I'm just scrubbing. And I'm like, I cannot wait. I got nice big drain boards so they can dry. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm very happy about that. So, what animals do you want to show us?
Okay, well, there's a couple that I didn't talk about, and maybe I can share those first. I do have some small Antaresia pythons, which are awesome, and I love those guys.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, I got what do I have? I have a children's python. They're still kind of small, but I have a female children's python, and I have a female Stimson's python.
Okay.
Which they don't get. I think they're a little smaller and kind of more narrow than ball pythons, but I can get them out. I'm not sure how good my lighting is here, but I can give it a shot here.
Okay, cool. While you're getting them, I'll give everybody a quick update, and I'll meet you right back here with a python.
I'll grab one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of look the same, so I'll grab one of them.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Robert.
Sure.
So those of y'all that are weren't here from the start or didn't get the introductions, that's Robert from Nemesis Reptiles. Check out his Instagram. His pictures are legendary on there. So check out Robert. Next week's show, Tuesday night, 8 p.m., same channel, same time, all of that. We're going to have Gen Z Reptiles, Jace and Josh, 2 brothers from Iowa, really killing it in ball pythons right now. And actually their Instagram's pretty happening as well. And Robert's going to show us some pythons now.
All right, I'm going to try here. I'm going to try here. So
hang on. Let me get you the big picture here.
Yeah.
Let me try anyway.
Try to get her in the screen here. There you go. There she is.
There he is. Yep.
Yeah, this is a Stimson's python. These are an Australian python. This is the smallest family of pythons in the world, which includes the anthill python, which is the smallest, but they're closely related. I'm trying to get her in the screen. Hang on. Let me go back up then.
There you go.
There you go.
And is that one mature?
No, she's still growing.
Okay.
I think they get about 3 to 4 feet, about ball python size, maybe
okay.
a little smaller. She's kind of hard to keep in the frame here. There you go.
Is it going to be the same girth as a ball python as well, or is it looks a little thinner?
No, they're thinner.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
She's got a tiny little head here.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that, you know, when you go into the ball python enclosure, they kind of just sit there.
Yeah.
These guys are real friendly. They come out.
Oh, wow.
They'll come straight to you and climb on you.
How explored are the genes in those? Are there a lot of morphs and the breeding knowledge of that stuff?
Not here. I don't think there's any morphs. These are pretty popular in Australia, I believe, because they don't export any animals or import animals anymore.
Okay.
So they're only allowed to keep native species, and whatever we have here in the United States, at least for now, that's all we got. So
that's the stock, huh? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any morphs, but they're pretty cool looking. I don't have the greatest light in here, but I think you get the idea.
Yeah, it'd be like a turbo leopard enchi if you were lucky enough to get it that concentrated. Do you have a pair of them or just one?
No, usually my strategy when buying stuff to breed is I get a female and then I wait a year or two and then I get a male.
Yeah.
You know, because usually females take an extra year or two to mature.
Yeah.
That's generally what I do.
Are the supply on those fairly readily available or not?
I think so. I don't think they were very expensive. I think they were like $150 or something.
Oh, cool.
But I think I wanted to kind of show them because I think that they're kind of underappreciated. You know, I get these guys out all the time. I love them.
It's very cool. Very, very cool little snake.
And I have some of these on my Instagram too, and their eyes are kind of a gold color too, which is when you take a picture. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, cool.
There's that. All right, I can put this one back. What else do you want to see? I can get one of the ball pythons out. Probably the prettiest one.
Your which one?
I got a pastel highway that's cool.
Let's do it.
All right, I'll get her out. Give me one second. I'll be right back.
All good.
Okay.
On Thursday, guys, if you will see, I've got a new video coming out on Thursday, and it's all about that little snake that finally ate. I've been commiserating with you all on videos for 3 months now about how she won't eat, and she finally ate. And I got I don't know if you noticed tonight, I got a new camera lens that I've really been enjoying. So there's a whole lot of pictures of her and like Be Real and all of that. So that'll be out on Thursday afternoon, evening. All right, you said Pastel Highway here.
Pastel Highway, which is it's a yellow belly, and I believe it's gravel and pastel. But I don't know if you can see, but she's kind of like a cream colored with like a faint yellow stripe in the back, and kind of a lavender striping that goes along with it. She's my most likely to bite too. So
okay, all right. Well, watch your face then. It's not the worst of looking at a camera. And
there you go. Here you go.
Shot.
Yeah, I apologize to everybody. I don't really have the best setup here for
that's okay.
Showing snakes off, but here she is.
That's real cool. And what? So she's probably what, coming up on 2,000 grams or right there?
I think she's about 1,500.
Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be her first year breeding.
Okay, that's that body condition I was talking about, guys.
Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah, y'all could see the ridge going down her back, so she's not all fatty. She's just real stout and ready to go, and she looks really good.
Yeah, and that's a good point that you bring up. I think we talked about it before, is that trying to keep them in a certain body condition is, the females, I kind of keep them like this, and the males, I kind of go for like a more, athletic type of build. I don't want them real heavy. I want them, healthy and slender and active.
Yeah.
Without being thin,
That, and I'm sorry, just real quick, Jay Benitez Reptiles asked, what was that last snake you had? That was a Stimson's python from Australia?
Stimson's python, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think there's 4 snakes in that kind of genus. There's a Stimson's, a Children's, a spotted python, and an anthill python.
Okay.
They all look very similar. Some are a little bigger, some are a little smaller, but they're all, I recommend those highly to everybody out there. They're not as popular as they should be.
Well, maybe it'll be on the future. And so anyhow, back to this one. What breeding plans do you have for that one? Because the yellow belly and the gravel will be allelic, right?
Yes, they are. I have a banana yellow belly that I'm breeding her to. So I'm trying to make a banana highway, which there may be a name for it, but I forgot what it is. But it'll be cool.
You could get banana ivories as well. Does the banana break through on ivory at all? I don't know.
That's true.
You could bring in some leopard and see what you could get from it. Oh, you've got a leopard too.
Yeah, I think that might happen. I forgot. I think I looked up the genetics calculator on that before, but it makes a lot of crazy stuff. So,
yeah. Well, yellow belly give you the ivory, but a leopard ivory actually has some really. It almost looks like the snake you've got, actually, to tell you the truth, with the creams and the yellows and then those purples coming through versus just all white like an ivory.
Yeah, she's a lot prettier in person. Like I said, my lighting is not great here, but No,
that's a good looking girl right there. Well, good luck on so the banana highway.
That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. See, these kinds of conversations are dangerous for me. I really am like, I'll be like a dog chasing a squirrel. Like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. So I really kind of limit myself where I'm just like blinders on, Adam, blinders. Don't go thinking about this stuff. Because I've got a banana and a yellow belly. I don't have any gravel, but I could, obviously could get gravel pretty quick.
Those are tricky because, I'm sure there's no way to tell between a gravel and a yellow belly.
You almost got to buy the highway. You're right.
What's the other one I'm thinking of? Asphalt. Asphalt is very similar to gravel too.
And then there's I lose track of the nicknames because you got highway, freeway. That's a different combination. One of them's asphalt, gravel. One of them's asphalt, yellow belly. One of them's gravel, yellow belly.
And I may be getting it wrong. It's been a while since I had that in my memory bank, but
no, that's a very cool snake though. I like the look of her. That is cool.
Oh, actually, I got this one at a reptile show. My wife liked this one, and it was actually kind of expensive. But it immediately struck out and bit my wife on the hand. And the guy gave us a good discount on the snake.
Oh, man. Yeah. That's actually
like $100 off.
Yeah. Get the hatchling to bite you and make the guy or the girl feel bad. There you go.
Yeah. That's how we ended up with her.
So show that snake one more time, because we almost always only see them as hatchlings.
I'm trying to get a better view in here if I can.
Yeah, no, it's coming through all right, man. I mean, we can. I mean, if you know what a highway looks like, you can imagine what that looks like.
Oh, there you go. Maybe like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she seems pretty good now. She used to be real mean. I won't say that. People get upset about that. She used to be real defensive.
You gotta. Well, you got two things working for you. You got a healthy audience here, and then if anybody gets mad, it's on my channel. They're not going to curse. They might curse you to me, but they're not going to curse you to you. So you'll be all right.
Yeah, she's a good girl now. And if you want, I can get out the biggest. How big is your biggest female that you got, Adam?
Like 2,300.
All right, I'll get out a 3,000 gram female.
I would love to see it. That's cool. Let's do it.
Okay, yeah, that'd be a good one to get out. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay, cool. All right, guys, and my last shameless plug in between him getting snakes out is crossing two different worlds. I play music professionally outside of work and ball pythons as well. But this weekend, I'll be heading out to Destin, Florida for the 30A Songwriters Festival. I have the early slots on Saturday and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. But at that festival, the Black Crows are there, Emmy Lou Harris, Steve Earle, Rodney Crowell, Indigo Girls are there, and Todd Snyder and James McMurtry. So I'm really, really pumped about playing that. If you have the odd chance of being in the Florida Panhandle this weekend, hit me up and let's get together and come see some live music. Back to the snakes, which is what you came for, though, not my shameless promos.
All right, I'm going to back up a little because she's big. Yeah.
Yeah, 3,000 gram female.
Yeah, this is just a straight Mojave girl named Jackie. And she is a big, big girl here.
She is a big girl. Yeah, look at those Mojave patterns. They just stick real tight. Yeah, and you can see the ridge on her back as well, man. Yeah, nice job on the conditions on those girls.
Yeah, they're not overweight, but she's big. She's heavy.
I bet she is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing but muscle too. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Hang on, she's wrapping up my
yeah, I see it.
Headset. There she is. We'll keep her here for a second. Yeah, she's a good girl.
That's cool. So have you bred her before?
Yeah. She's made a bunch of Mystic Potions, Super Mojaves, things like that. I breed her to my Mystic Potion all the time.
Cool. How many eggs does she produce in a typical year? Or is it all over the place with her?
I think I'm trying to remember last year. It was like 8 or 9 last year. But
okay. She's
a lot bigger now. She might be like 10 or 12.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I didn't know how old she was or how long she's been at that size breeding for you.
I think she's only like 3 years old.
Oh, cool. Oh, man.
You know, they don't all grow at the same rates.
No, they don't. No, they don't. That's crazy that she's that. Wow. Whew.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see how many eggs she produces for you this year, man. A 3,000 gram girl, that is a stout female right there.
Yeah, and I think the VPI Xanthic girl I have is this big too. And she's
really?
already bred 5 times, yeah.
Yeah. And 5 times for you?
Yeah, I've been pairing her like every 3 weeks since like November. Okay. She's already locked 5 times. So, but this girl hasn't locked at all yet. I think she likes to go later in the year.
I'm sorry. When you said bred, I was envisioning late clutches.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. That's what I was. Yeah, that was my conclusion. Not. Anyway, so has the Axanthic produced eggs for you before?
Yeah, I think she produced 9 last year.
Got 9.
Yeah,
man, that'd be that. And there, to your point, why there's no rush. Like, let the girls get big. Like, they could go at 12, and I just feel like they won't build that size because you're constantly trying to get them back up to size. Now, that's easy for the guy that has only had 1 season under his belt to say that. So, but in my mind, that seems like a reasonable thing.
Yeah, and the Axanthic sold out almost all of them in one night. It was amazing. I think maybe I set the price too low, but it didn't seem that low to me. I was just kind of comparing to what other people set the price at because, you know, I'm not trying to gouge anybody or anything.
Right.
Just look for a fair price for the effort that we put in. And my email and phone just completely blew up.
Nice.
Some of them made it all the way to Japan, actually, which was interesting.
Really? How did you? Oh, talk about that. Did it just happen to end up there through somebody else's efforts, or did you ship to Japan?
I was real hesitant at first because a guy reached out to me from Japan and he said that he's a collector. He works for another guy acquiring snakes either for a business or a personal collection. and that he has a guy in Florida that he works with that does the exportation for him.
Yeah.
So he goes, I can PayPal you the money, and all you have to do is export it to this guy or ship it to this guy in Florida, and he'll take care of it from there. And yeah, it all went smoothly. I was kind of nervous about it first, but yeah, they made it all the way to Japan, which was kind of cool.
That's really, really cool. I love following, well, some finance blogs and stuff like that. But there's a guy, Clark Howard, that a lot of people listen to. But he always says, man, don't feel bad about or don't second guess a profit. Like if you don't think of what you could have done or should I marked it higher. No, you got what you asked for. You felt good about it. You put out a good product. Don't think twice about it. Go on, man. We can all drive ourselves nuts of like, oh, I should have bought this stock at this time or sold this house for
No, it worked out because they were so in demand. I think, because VPI Xanthics are unbelievably beautiful when they're small. And, I try to take some nice pictures and stuff and put them up. And, people ended up overbidding more than what I was even asking to get them. So
wow,
it was wild. Yeah,
man.
But go ahead.
We have a whole bunch of different, or not different, but more people in the audience. So if you haven't checked out Robert's Instagram, his pictures are fantastic. But I was commenting earlier, aside from just fantastic pictures, I think almost everybody in the audience is a breeder. So like when you're selling, you got to find a way to stand out, whether it's, that really was the root of me starting a YouTube channel was, man, there's 18,000 breeders on Morph Market. How are you going to stand out from them? All right, well, I'll start a YouTube channel and put my brand out there that way. And what you've done with your pictures, your online storefront, I guess you just set up the Linktree, but I thought the Linktree was brilliant as well. It just all seemed to fit. I was like, this guy's got his act together. And that really was why I wanted to have you on the show. I was like, he stands out. I'm going to learn something from him, man. This is cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, like I know exactly what you're talking about. There's tons of ball python breeders, but one thing that I noticed when I first got into ball pythons is that you're going to run into some kind of some characters out there that that aren't really that trustworthy. I know when I bought snakes in the beginning, in fact, this girl right here, this big Mojave here, was sold to me as a mystic, and then I started getting her. I was like, this don't look right, and I was less experienced at the time, so. I didn't know. Eventually, I took it to people and they go, that's a Mojave, 100% for sure. So I got the wrong genes. I bought a snake before that was supposed to be a female. It was a male, which is it's an easy mistake to make.
That's a little more common. Yeah.
Yeah. But I brought home a snake a couple times that had mites. Now, luckily I quarantined for, like 60 days or something. And, if anybody has a problem ever with mites, I can wipe them out in a couple days using all natural ways. But one of the things that I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of do things a little bit better. One thing I like to do is that I go through and I sex all my babies when they hatch out. I'm not super good at it like some people are. Probably about 90% there. So I go ahead and sex them all, then I take them to a buddy of mine and have them double checked. To try to get it to 100%, because I don't ever want to sell anybody the wrong thing. I'll never sell anything with genetics that I'm not 100% for sure what they are,
Yeah.
And I try to have really good customer service. I really don't want anybody to have a bad experience with what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm not doing this to make a living. I'm doing it just because I love it, and I'm just trying to make a few bucks so I can pour it back into the little operation that I could,
right.
No,
those things are so important, and those things are also so important so that if and when the time comes that we do make mistakes, because we're humans, that people trust that you're going to make it right for them, and or trust that it truly was a mistake. Steven at Leviathan Snakes here, he just posted I don't know if it was a short or it was a short on Instagram. Maybe there'll be a video, but yeah, he went to go breed a snake that he had bought as one sex, and it just wasn't. He found out kind of the hard way on that. So I'm with you. I'm not great at sexing them when they hatch out. So I pop them, but actually I've been really good or I've felt more comfortable with a probe kit.
Yeah. I do that too.
it was interesting because I wasn't great at popping, and I went ahead and I marked everything and I made my list, and then I went in the probe and I was like, either this is all screwed up and I don't know anything I'm doing, or and then I went to go pop again according to my probe notes, and I was like, now I see, that's what and those of y'all that are, if you're just starting out, first, it's hard to do. Second, once you do figure out what you do, there's two things that are scent glands that can fool you, and you go, "What are those?" Like, I didn't know those. I've
done that. Yeah,
right there. Yeah, what the hell are those sitting there? They're not supposed to be there. Yeah. So it takes a little bit of time and a little bit of practice, but like a lot of things in this hobby, you just got to go do it. You got to do it with care and look out for your animals. You can hurt them, but it is doable, but mistakes do happen for sure.
Yeah, I just try to eliminate as many of those as I can. I want, I don't ever want to have anybody, as much as I can prevent it, to have a bad experience.
Absolutely. And these are live animals we're talking about too. Like, it's one thing in a restaurant, I screw something up, I make it right for you, no problem. Like, you screw up an animal, that's an animal, and it could end up unwanted or could end up, not cared for and all that. And you're also right about mites. I got one animal shipped to me that had mites, and I was furious. It was even after I quarantined, there they were in my collection. I don't know if they got on me. That was at a time when I had my snakes in a certain room in the house, and I was quarantining in a different room. And I don't know if the mites got on my clothing or on my son or whatever. It's the most maddening thing. And you're right, you could get rid of them fairly quickly.
On one snake, yeah.
Yeah, but you have to move fast, man. Yeah, on one snake, that's right. You have to move fast. Man, I was so furious. I ended up taking a day off of work and spending like 8-10 hours just tearing apart the room, bombing the room, bathing the snakes. And then you got to do the whole thing over again a week later for a second treatment kind of thing. So yeah, I'm pretty stingy about who I'll bring a snake home from now. I have to say.
Because mites is different. They know that they have mites in their collection when they're doing
That's right.
They know. There's no way they don't know that that's going on.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That drives me nuts. Now, do you ever vend at shows or not?
I want to. I haven't done it yet, but I'm hoping, as one of my goals for 2022, I'd like to vend.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's on my list. I need a big enough inventory to be able to do it. But
how do you see it going? Do you think, and this is, I don't mean to put you on the spot, and I don't have an answer in my mind, so no judgment any direction. How do you see it going? Do you feel like you'll quarantine your snakes after from being around all the others, or you think there's enough space between vendors? Or I've never vended. What's kind of the protocol on that?
I've thought about that myself. What do you do when you have to bring these animals back? Hang on, sorry, just getting out of control here. But one thing that that I always do when I get a new snake is that number one, I soak them in water for a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You got to keep an eye on them, obviously, an inch or two of water. And then I dab some olive oil on a paper towel and kind of wipe them down. Yeah. And leave that. I think I got that on a YouTube video somewhere, but that seems to quickly wipe them out too. But so maybe that's something I can do after you bring a snake back, but it's kind of hard to tell.
That's true. Yeah, my routine is I give them a bath in Dawn dish soap.
Yep, that'll work too.
Down. And then I actually, if they're not hatchlings, I don't think that the hatchlings can handle it that well. But I actually, and I don't know, I got to look up what my ratio is. I have it labeled on the bottle, but I actually have an ivermectin and Dawn mix that I'll do just once, very diluted, but it's just if they're going to come into the house, I'm going to put them through that and get that done. Now, anybody watching, don't screw around with ivermectin in your snakes without looking at how to water it down, because it's very dangerous stuff. But if you don't know where your snake's coming from and it might have mites, give it that one wash, and usually you're going to do well with it.
Yeah, I think with most parasites, it seems to be about breaking the life cycle. With most parasites, they feed on the animal, they have to drop off, find a place to lay eggs or reproduce in some way. And
Yeah.
then so if you have a pretty sterile setup as your quarantine, paper towels that you're cleaning out every day, even with just hot water, it seems to work. For me, it seemed to work to break the life cycle because I've never had, they've kind of fallen off and never come back every time I've had to deal with it.
Yeah. I wasn't that lucky. They got into all of mine, but I didn't. I was new. That was the other thing that drove me so nuts. I was getting momentum, like feeling like I knew what I was doing as a hobbyist. And anyway, I don't screw around with mites. We had a couple comments for you. 403 Fauna. This is Mark. He's down in San Diego. He says, Robert, you're going to be at Pomona?
Yes.
Okay.
Next weekend, I believe, right?
Oh, nice. You guys, Mark is a good guy. He also, Mark has one of my hatchlings, but he's also been a guest on my show. Really, really good dude. You guys should catch up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
you can message me on Instagram, Mark. I'll be there.
And we didn't talk specifically. You're in Victorville, which I hadn't heard of, but then I looked it up. Is that still considered the Inland Empire, or are you further out from LA from that?
We're like on the top of the mountain overlooking the Inland Empire, but it's San Bernardino County. So
you're not in the valley. You're up on a mountain.
Yeah, we're like almost 3,000 feet up here. We even get snow up here sometimes.
I didn't know that. All right, because I had it all wrong. I was thinking you were like desert, like outside of San Bernardino desert kind of thing. But you're way up there then, huh?
It's still the desert. It's just the high desert.
Yeah. So
I actually love it up here.
You get the huge temperature swings then.
Yes. Yeah. It goes from 120 up to like 110 in the summer, and then below freezing in the winter.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. That's a neat area. I love LA for like 3 days at a time. Like I try and go out there pretty often, but not.
Oh, I see a question from Leviathan Snakes real quick.
Yeah, let's see here real quick. He says, this might have been asked early as we joined late, but what pairing are you most excited about this year, and what animal are you and what grow up animal are you most excited about?
Yeah, okay. So I'm very excited about the GHI Mojave head hypo being paired to my hypo female, visual hypo female. I'm trying to hit, we talked about it before, but I'll say it again. I'm trying to hit a GHI Mojave hypo. I'm also excited about, like we just talked about, the Pastel Highway or Banana Pastel Highway, which will be cool. I'm looking forward to some clown stuff, and I'm hoping next year to be able to hit on a lightning pied, which I've always wanted to do, and I've been planning for that for years. But any recessive stuff I'm happy about. But I think those are the things I'm most excited about. It was Mark, right? Or who's from
Leviathan Snakes is Stephen and Courtney, and they
I know who they are.
Yeah, they're just in South Carolina.
I see them on Instagram all the time. It's nice to yeah.
They're neck and neck on pictures with you, but yours are, and not just because you're the guest tonight. I'm really good buddies with Stephen and Courtney there, but that's Stephen right there. But yeah, his pictures are great, and actually, all joking aside, his pictures are what convinced me that I wanted to buy this different camera. Again, to try and stand out. I was like, man, it's I've kind of got this routine down. People say that I've got a good voice and a comfortability on camera, and if I'm good at making these videos, I was like, I need to get some better equipment. It's time. So after about literally 140 videos, I went and bought this camera on the recommendation of Stephen and Courtney.
Yeah, it looks great. I mean, I keep looking at my screen and then looking at yours. I'm like, this is kind of embarrassing.
No, well
this
first,
is just,
thank you, but not because you're embarrassed. But this was a lot of trial and error, and I couldn't decide if it was just me seeing what I wanted to see, and I was like, man, I think this is really good. And then I had a conference call with I still do some consulting and advisory for a company that I left actually kept me on remotely, which is great. So I was on a conference call with my boss, and he was like, did you get a new camera, or what did you do? I was like, yes, I did. I got it. This is the good stuff. I'm not just imagining it, So, all right, we got about 5 minutes, as I usually say at this time of the night. I got to give my wife a kiss before she goes to sleep. tell us what do you got on your horizon? What's coming up? What should we watch out for? Or what do you want to leave us with? Or, take us home here, so to speak.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep expanding my ball pythons just because I love ball pythons. I'm looking to add a couple more Antaresia pythons, maybe a spotted python next. I'm really big into, I'm starting to get big into colubrids. I don't think I mentioned it, but I have a pair of adult mandarin rat snakes that I have brewmating in the garage
Oh, wow.
that I'm hoping will produce. I really like those a lot. I'm hoping those will produce this year. And, I think I'm going to go to the Pomona show, like somebody mentioned, and kind of look for a new project.
Yeah, that was Mark. And like I say, you should go hang out with Mark. He's very cool.
Sure.
How, crystal ball, magic wand stuff, how big do you want your ball python collection to be? You told me a little bit about the space that you're working in. So you got space. Where do you see it going?
I mean, a building would be nice, right?
You told me you had a 4-car garage, man. You're all set.
or yeah, I could just put snake room 2. Nobody parks in there. But yeah, I think my advice to everybody, I mean, kind of what I try to do is that everybody that does this, everybody that's a breeder kind of has their own little dreams and hopes.
Yeah.
And I just try to push it forward, just a little bit every day. It doesn't all have to be in one day. You just try to make a little progress towards that every day. And,
I agree with you. I've to rehash something. I see some new names in the audience. Thank you all. Illadelph, I saw your note before it disappears real quick. Yes, I'm down in Tampa pretty often. I might be down in February at the show, and I'm playing music on the February 5th south of Tampa, but I'll be going through there. Maybe a beer or lunch or something would be cool. So a lot of my videos lately, Robert, have been what you're talking about. Just little things that, like, I decided I was going to put down a floor, but it's only a 12x8 room. Like, it's like 90 square feet. Like, the floor goes down like that. And I picked up the waterproof vinyl flooring from somebody down the road that's doing construction and had it left over. And I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Let's go. So all those little things that you could piece together, keep your lists going and keep punching the holes. It's really cool to see.
Okay, well, I think you're getting close to your time limit here, Adam, but I wanted to say that I really, really had a good time being on your show. And anytime you want me on again, if I'm lucky enough, I'll be happy to join.
Oh, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
You're always welcome back. And, if you want to do a little course on your pictures, feel free. Keep the secrets. Don't, whatever. Hey, all joking aside, thank you very, very much for being here. Those of y'all that are watching, what you might not realize is that I don't know the people that come on the show. I haven't met them before. It's a total roll of the dice. It's sort of a trust fall for both of us. Robert's got an established brand. He's coming here. So it's a cool thing. And I'm always amazed that it works out. I mean, really, if you drew it up and you're like, no, you're not going to know anything. You're not going to rehearse or plan anything. You're just going to go. And here we are. So I thank you very much for it.
One thing I got to get in real quick. I just want to say hi to my wife, Krista. And of course, I'm a young grandpa, so I got 2 little grandkids that, as they call it, NewTube. They watch it all the time. So I want to say hi to Alec and Chloe. I just wanted to mention their names because they'll like hearing their names on the NewTube, as they would say.
Alec and Chloe, I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you enjoy seeing what's your grandfather name?
Oh, Grandpa.
Grandpa? Okay. I hope you enjoy seeing Grandpa on the NewTube. And anyhow, thank you for being here. Next week, we got Gen Z Reptiles. That's Robert from Nemesis Reptiles right there to my left on my screen. I don't know where he's at on your screen. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody watching, thank you all very much. Oh, and I will be on Pet Sodix, who is also in the audience tonight. Keep me honest. Thursday night, the 13th, I'll be on Pet Sodix with Diego this week as well. So busy schedule for me this week, which is wonderful because idle time is not good for me. So cheers, everybody. Thank you all very much. Robert, thank you very much, man.
Thank
I
you.
will see you all next time. Yeah, thanks. Good night. That's it.
Good night. Okay.
Oh. Now we'll do good night. There it is.